I have with me Ajay Thakur. He's the CEO of Nepal's news media outlet, which is Avenues TV. Thank you so much, Ajay Thakur, for speaking with Asianet News. The visuals that are coming out of Nepal, they are quite disturbing. What is the current situation? How bad it is?
As far as Nepal is concerned, it's slowly spiraling out of control, the way it has been panning out since the morning. It started at about 9 o'clock in the morning, the protest, and now we are at 5 o'clock local time, so it's almost now 8 hours. And it first was restricted to a certain section of Nepal. It's called Maitigat Mandala, where these people were supposed to congregate and to protest against both the closure of the social media networks as well as of the corruption. So this social media network and stuff like that, as well as corruption, they were actually going hand in hand. And till that point of time, it was just looking like a absolute, and even till now, it looks like an absolute Gen Z kind of a protest where these are all youth, well-educated, even the less educated, all kinds of people. They joined and they started this whole thing, and they were peacefully, they were proceeding towards the Parliament House. And it's called the Sansad over here. So they were going over there, and then things quickly spiral out of control. And they just gate crashed the parliament. There were scenes of the students getting into parliament annex, and some of them even roughed up the cops, but at the same time even the cops struck back. The most important or the disturbing thing which has come up as of now, the disturbing news which is coming in, is that over 80 people have been injured. 17 people have been confirmed dead, and the figure is expected to rise. And this thing has actually even spiraled beyond, in the sense that what has happened is it's also now across the rest of the country. So places like Viratnagar, which is in the east, to Birganj, which is in the center, and even fires. So we are getting reports from all over the place. Students are breaking into this spontaneous protest, and they are clashing with authorities.
Journalists are also part of this protest. What are they actually saying? This bill was not passed in Parliament, but the government cited the Supreme Court's directive, which also kind of asked these social media companies to go ahead and register with the Nepali authorities. So what exactly are the journalists and the youth of the country are saying?
See, first of all, I think back in India, if you would have seen, people coming from Nepal and even across the globe, the people coming from Nepal are actually connected to each other mostly through the social media platforms and instant messengers. And so what happened is essentially, in a country which is struggling to, get its infrastructure into place, what is happening is, you have the communication, platforms, you have got mobile phones and stuff like that, but the broadband networks, the social media, they become the mainstay for connecting between different countries and between different people. So now what happens is, for the journalists also, this is, one of the source of, sourcing information, because quite a few of the media houses have got, I would say, alignments. So there's a general kind of a discontent, even in the people over here. They look more at social media for the correct picture of things. So that's what happens is, and of course, the youth of this country, they are interacting more over here through this social media platforms. Not to forget the fact that these social media platforms, they are also a great source of income for a lot of these youths, because influencers and opinion makers and videos and stuff like that. So there's a huge population which also depends upon that. And most importantly, in a democracy, this is one of the best places for them to give in to their feelings. Now that was something which was not happening, and with these kinds of closure, for the past now a little more than 72 hours, this country has been battling slow networks and stuff like that. Even the roaming calls from other countries, which was on the first day it was okay, but it's also started going down. It's become erratic. We can sense hand of the government and all this. So what is happening is, and to sort of add insult to injury, last evening the prime minister, the prime minister just got a thundering majority to extend his stay as the leader of the ruling UML party, and which they amended their constitution essentially to make him the party supremo for a third term. As well as they also removed the cap for the upper age limit, which was 70 years or so. So what has happened is, in that I think in one of the plenary sessions, he actually laughed at the Gen Z protest, because this was happening. This shutdown was happening parallel to the UML's convention, which elected him. So of course there are different schools of thought, but the prime minister also laughing it off. That also added a bit of insult to injury. So that's what how things just went out of control over here.
Right, and I'm also trying to get a sense of the situation on ground. Is it only the anger because of the ban on social media? Because we have been hearing reports about protests against unemployment and against corruption in the government.
See, ban on the social media was the flashpoint. That was the last thing that the government should have done. See, what happens is over here, opinion is pretty fragmented and pretty polarized. So, you have got medias, with alignments and stuff like that. But most importantly, what has happened is this was, in terms of press freedom index, Nepal is much, much higher than practically all the South Asian countries. So, it's actually in the top 60s. So what happened was, and people cherish that freedom a lot. And these are, mind you, youth. Nepal is a young country. Over 65 to 70% of the population is young. So what happened was, this was the only thing that they could do to vent out their feelings against unemployment. Every year, almost 3 to 5% of the people from here have to migrate overseas to get a decent living. There is, the GDP is not exactly much to talk about. Most of the economy is being run through through remittances. So what happens is there's been a growing discontent amongst youth. Although all the political parties, draw their strength from these people also, from the youth also. But this time it was like a more enough is enough, and the platform that they used to give vent to their feelings, that was actually going off the radar. So that's how this whole thing spiraled out of control, and I don't see it these people are in a forgiving mood on this side.
Right. Just last question from my side would be, what are we hearing from the government side? Because as you quoted, 17 people have died so far. What is the government saying so far? What can we expect in the future to tackle this situation? Because is it also simmering down, or it continues to be as such?
See, if you may recollect, about I think it was half a year ago, a couple of months back, there was a pro-monarchist protest which happened in this country. And that also led to the death of 2 people. Incidentally, one of them was one of our, he was one of our cameramen who was out there, a guy called Suresh Razak, who was out there shooting these whole so that time also there was something that we, these disturbing things we had seen happening over there, and the government literally crushed the protest. Now this time also what is happening is, the things that we are getting from unconfirmed sources are that most of the people who are injured might have been just injured because of bullet wounds. So we actually don't know at this point of time, because till the government actually comes out with maybe a white paper or a clear statement on this. But one thing is definitely clear, that the government was caught napping, because the way this whole thing panned out, and the police, we had been tracking the police communication and stuff like that, and what we saw firsthand was that the government was totally caught off guard. But more than that, what is happening is, this is also going to be, it's not going to be an easy task for the government to wriggle out. Mind you, This is a UML, Nepali Congress government. The Prime Minister is from the UML, the Communist Party, and a diametrically opposite ideology is the other ruling opposition, the ruling coalition partner, the Nepali Congress, and the Home Minister is from the Nepali Congress. So what is going to happen right now is that while this whole thing was triggered off by the UML, the ruling UML's communication minister, and this thing is going to pan out over here. So. There are also simmerings within the ruling coalition because the way this has been handled, mind you, the elections are less than 2 years away, the parliamentary elections. So this could also be, a huge sign as to how things are going to pan out in the future. But as of now, currently, there is an uneasy silence. The government has not yet spoken, although the government has gone into some kind of meeting and stuff like that, some cabinet meeting or whatever. But the thing is, none of the leading political leaders of this country, in the past 6 years, 6 hours of citizens or youth versus police, none of them have have spoken even a word about it. There are also talks of, there are also whispers, I would say, although it's unconfirmed. We had, of course, seen it in the past of, these political party aligned vigilantes, having a shot in the dark in such situations. So we are also looking at such situation panning out over here. So we actually don't know at this point of time what the government is going to say, but the government has not said anything as yet.
Right. And, given the fact that all the major social media outlets are banned, I think journalists are resorting to other social media which are not banned. For example, Reddit and TikTok. That's what we are hearing here in India.
Yeah. TikTok, TikTok is pretty cute because that's the one which they and Reddit actually ran the whole show over here. In fact, we drew all our strength from there itself. Tracking things, what is being planned and stuff like that. But mind you, even when they shut down everything, we saw the crowd climbing from a mere 100 to almost 25,000 plus in less than 3 hours flat. That was TikTok for you. That was Reddit for you. So this country is, way far, beyond that, what its government would have imagined the youth to be. And I would say full marks to the kids, the way they have been, they have, managed themselves with, the way they have come together. But then again, the thing is, we don't know which way the things are going to pan out at this point of time.